and the waiting room is clear. So I think we can go ahead and get started. We are recording today's presentation just for everyone's awareness to post on our website after the forum. So Mandy, if you want to go ahead and hit record, we can get started.
All set.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today. My name is Kristen Merrill, and I am a senior policy manager with the Office of Medicare Services, specifically within the policy unit. And I wanted to just talk very briefly before we get started about today's forum. So as most or maybe all of you may know, in May of 2024, the department initiated a rate determination process for certain Medicare covered family planning and family planning related services, as well as long-acting reversible contraception, or LARCs, as we commonly refer to them. So as part of that process, the department conducted a code and rate analysis for items and services that meet that federal definition of family planning or family planning related services, as well as the LARCs, in an effort to determine an appropriate and equitable benchmark or reimbursement methodology consistent with what we currently do under our rate reform statute. And so today's forum is intended for the department to present those draft rates and methodologies and to solicit your comments, questions, or concerns. And just for general awareness, we are going to save the questions until after the presentation, but please feel free to add any questions into the chat as we go. I guess with that, I also just want to say that we really appreciate your attendance today, and your participation. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dwayne to do a brief introduction before we get started.
Good morning. My name is Dwayne Parsons. I am the manager of rate setting for the Office of Medicare Services. And I'm joined by my rate setting coordinator, Amanda Lee, rate reform analyst, Jessica Levesque, and management analyst, Lori Bailey. And I'll pass it over to Catherine to start the slides.
Thank you. My name is Kathy. I am in the policy department with Medicare, and I'm going to go ahead and start sharing the slides. So Dwayne's going to go over the rate reform process and the methodology. Then we're going to present the rates, and at the end we'll have time for questions.
So the rate reform process is governed by MRS Title 22, Statute 3173J, which was enacted in 2022 as a guide for process and principles of the Medicare rate system. Some of the highlights of what that law does is it sets schedule for regular rate review and adjustments. It breaks down rates that are benchmarked either to Medicare or other payers, or rates that have development of rate methodologies. For this instance, we are benchmarking. Benchmark rates off Medicare have to be updated every year. Any alternative payer benchmarks have to be reviewed at least every 2 years, or updated every 2 years, and then reviewed every 4. This ensures the review of relevant information, both state and national, to inform the payment models. It also formalizes a clear process of what the rate determination is supposed to look like. Public notice, which has already been sent out in this situation, public presentations, public comments, and draft rates, as well as the response by the department to those comments. The law also established the Medicare Advisory Committee and the technical advisory panel that are stay informed of the processes and where the department is at in various stages of various different rate determinations. Next slide. So today, being the public forum, where we're gonna show the draft rates and explain the benchmarking process that was used for those rates. After today, we will have a written comment period that will be accepted through October 14th, 2024. the comments need to be sent to the rate setting email address for this specific purpose. If you put in the headline or the subject of that email, family planning LARCs, for any comments you do share. Amanda, can you please put the email address in chat so everyone has that? And then the department will view the responses to the comments and then post the responses to our rate reform website. Next slide.
The definition for family planning services aligns with the section 1905A4C of the Social Security Act. Federal family planning services and supplies include coverage for services and supplies to prevent or delay pregnancy and may include education and counseling in the method of contraception desired or currently in use by the individual, a medical visit, or a medical visit to change the method of contraception. Long-acting reversible contraception or LARCs are intrauterine devices and contraceptive implants.
So the family planning and family planning related services, we are going to be using 100% of the Medicare rate effective on July 1st of each year for Maine Area 99, published by CMS. And we have identified the family planning related diagnosis codes with modifiers identified by the Department of the U3 modifier. Additionally, with the long-acting reversible contraception, the LARCs, we're using in weighted average of acquisition, a wholesale acquisition cost or WAC based on the NDC HCPC utilized combination, which is completed by taking all different NDCs for each one of those codes and then using utilization to determine what the weighted average based on WAC price is for each of those. Next slide. So first,
Actually, Dwayne, would you mind? Can we just jump back to that previous slide for
Yeah.
just a second? I'd like to clarify just a couple things. Speaking specifically to the requirements portion there in that last column, I do just want to let folks know that essentially what the department is contemplating here is requiring the usage of a U3 modifier. Those providers who are currently familiar with the way that we require billing of family planning services will know that we require the use of the FP modifier. So in part of the assessment and development of these proposed methodologies or reimbursement structures, we did determine that it would be most effective for the department to identify a new modifier to articulate specific reimbursement as described on this slide for these eligible services. And the reason being is primarily to distinguish what is considered family planning and family planning related based on that federal definition. So for that first row, it'll require specific diagnosis codes to get to the utilization of that service alongside the member's intended condition or visit, as well as for the LARCs. So that information will also go out in billing guidance to providers, notices, e-messaging notices, and billing guidance that the department intends to keep on its webpage. So recognizing that U3 modifier has not been contemplated or discussed previously, I wanted to put an emphasis on that. So thank you. Sorry to interrupt me.
sorry. So here we have some of the CPT codes that show the current rate as of March 9th, which is the last fee schedule that came out from CMS, and the proposed 100% of Medicare that would use that same fee schedule. Am I correct? Yes, until the new updated fee schedules are released next year. Next slide. Here list the codes for office and other outpatient visits for evaluation and management. When those visits are related to family planning and family planning related services. Once again, the current rate based off the current methodology of 72.4% of the Medicare fee schedule and what it would be under the proposed 100% methodology. Next slide. We also have a comprehensive preventive medicine evaluations and management when visits are related to family planning and family planning related services. Same thing, the codes and the rates current as of 3/9 and what the proposed rates are. These slides will also be posted on the rate reform website if you want to refer back to them. I assume they should be posted probably today or tomorrow, Mandy. Is that accurate?
Sorry, I couldn't find my mute button. Yeah, the presentation notice should go out late today or tomorrow morning.
So you will be able to reference these from our rate setting website later on this week. Next slide. And then we have the preventative medicine, counseling, and or risk factor reduction intervention for visits that are related to family planning and family planning related services. Same concept, benchmarked based on the current rates of that came out 3/9 and the proposed 100% of Medicare. Next slide. And here we have the rates for the J codes related to the LARCs, which are that weighted NDC wholesale acquisition price methodology. So you can see what the current rates are for those services, and then what we're proposing based on our calculations. So significant increases in a lot of those reimbursements related to the current levels. Next slide. So we welcome questions from interested parties pertaining to this presentation. If you want to use the raise hand function on your device, says we can limit to 3 minutes, but I don't think that's necessary given the amount of time we have. So we can allow more than that. And then once again, the public comments really should go through our mailbox. So if you do have comments here and you want them addressed during the comment period, please send them to the email address too for the formal comment process. And then we have instructions. Internet users can select reactions for participants from the meeting controls to the bottom of the screen to raise hand. Press Alt-Y on your computer's keyboard to toggle raise hand on. Telephone users can use *9 on your keypad of your phone, but I don't know that we have telephone users on. So, but I open it to those of you with questions.
So I know I said I'd monitor the chat, so if anybody would rather put their question in the chat and have me read it out loud for them, I'm happy to do that. And I'm not seeing any hands raised at the moment.
Hi, this is Sharon. Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Sure.
Hi, everyone. I know most of you. So if I'm understanding this right from the previous slides, and I'm trying to just remember what I saw. So the average rate's going to be calculated for the, I'm specifically talking about J codes now, will be calculated on an annual basis, and whatever is the effective rate over the average of the last year will be effective on July 1 of each year. Is that correct?
Yes, it will be when we make the updates to the 100% of Medicare for the non-J codes. It will be on July 1st of each year, and we'll also rebase the LARC calculations for the NDC changes each year as well on July.
And those will be effective for a full year. They don't get changed on a quarterly
Correct.
basis, right? Okay,
Yeah, correct. We are doing it for a full year. Yep.
thank you.
You're welcome.
And if it's easier for anyone who'd like to comment, we can also jump back to a previous slide just for reference or for comment purposes. So feel free to let us know if that'd be helpful.
Letting us off easy. I like it.
I think this might be the quickest forum we've had.
Everyone loves an increase.
For sure. Sure.
Go ahead, Charlie.
I'm just going to make a quick note that I'm here on behalf of Planned Parenthood of Northern New England. I'm with Kozak and Geyer in Augusta, and neither Lisa nor any of the other folks from PPNNE were able to make this particular time. So I'm just taking notes and passing that on. I'm sure that once they have the material that you're going to post on the website, they may indeed have questions, and we'll relay those to you promptly.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And so the email address to address questions, Mandy posted that in the chat. It's the ratereform.oms@maine.gov.
Thank you.
That will be in the notice too, so.
I think we can give it another minute or two just to see if anything comes up for anyone that they'd like to comment. And if not, then we could probably conclude the forum. So say we give it to 11:25.
Can we go back to the slide with the comment deadline date? I just wanted to, maybe I wasn't hearing it, but anyway, Charlie, for you to relay back, that is going to be the comment deadline date for them to submit any written comments about this process or the rates.
Right, understood. Since we have time and no one else seems to be asking questions, I'm just going to ask if you could go back over, Kristen, the rationale for the new modifier and if you could explain, because I don't have enough background myself, what did the FP modifier not do that the U3 modifier is going to do?
Sure, yeah, I'd be happy to discuss that. It's not that the usage of the modifier is intending to do something that the FP modifier did not. It is actually for the department specifically to identify the subset of services that meet that federal definition to make sure we're applying the appropriate reimbursement methodology. So some folks might be aware or maybe not, but the way our system is structured, when providers bill claims, we can utilize modifiers to alter that reimbursement structure. And so for these services in question today, that meet that definition, as I'm sure most of you are aware, those services or those procedure codes rather can be used in other instances, just regular old office visits, not pertaining to family planning. And so we want to ensure that when providers are billing, for the purpose of a family planning visit, that we are reimbursing that appropriate 100% of Medicare or new proposed LARC methodology as contemplated in the previous slide. So it's really for the department to be able to just appropriately identify those services and pay them the right way.
So I guess my question is, was the FP modifier used differently by providers, or did the department expect them to use it differently? I would have assumed that was to identify when the service was meeting the federal definition for family planning.
And it was, and it still will be. However, currently today, the department also utilizes that FP modifier for other reasons as well, specific to Section 30 reimbursement. So our family
Okay.
services section of policy. Yep. So there is a specific reimbursement structure that is tied to that section of policy for certain services, and that will continue
Okay.
beyond this. So we had to find a way to really carve out those services for any provider that could potentially provide or bill for these services.
Thank you. Thank you. That's very helpful. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think you just answered my question, Kristen. So every provider type will bill with that U3 modifier, and that would include be included on the codes, the J codes as well.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Any
Great.
of the services discussed today, yep, going forward upon implementation of this methodology would require the U3 modifier in order to get the reimbursement contemplated today. If providers don't bill with that U3 modifier, the services, that doesn't mean that the services won't be reimbursed. It just won't be reimbursed at the methodology or percent of Medicare as described in this particular presentation. So for those family planning or family planning related services, if providers don't bill with the U3 modifier, it will reimburse at the standard 72.4% of Medicare that's currently in effect. And so again, that information will go out through e-messaging and billing guidance that we're going to post on our website just to ensure that providers really know when appropriate to bill that way. These are great questions. Is there any more?
I'm just curious under what circumstances you would not bill with the U3 modifier and get the old reimbursement methodology.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's a great question. So specifically when the service is not for the purpose of a family planning visit. So Kathy, can you jump back to that definition slide? It's essentially this 1905 A4C Social Security Act reference requires that in order to be considered a family planning visit or service, that it is tied specifically with the intention to prevent or delay pregnancy or spacing of children. So a couple examples we've seen in the past are, LARC or IUD insertion, not for the purpose of, contraception. Perhaps there is some sort of underlying medical condition that these devices could aid an individual in that aren't specifically tied to prevent or delay pregnancy. Same thing with those visit codes, because those office visits are just standard E&M services that really most providers can bill for. Not every provider is going to bill for the purpose of a family planning visit. So it could just be a regular old, wellness check with a doctor annually.
Got it. Makes sense.
Are there any slides that folks would like to see again that might be helpful?
I would just love a copy of the J code slide as quickly as I can have it, so I can send it out to the CFOs in my group and just say any thoughts, immediate thoughts that we can think about comments. But I can't imagine that they will be anything but pleased.
Glad to hear it. And as Mandy mentioned, we will be sending out the materials fairly quickly. I believe this goes out to the general noticing because it impacts so many provider types and sections of the benefits manual. Is that correct, Mandy?
It can.
Okay.
Or it can go to the specific sections that are listed.
Okay. So you might get it multiple times, Sharon.
I tend to get all the notices, yes, multiple times.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, well, not hearing any more questions. Kathy, if you just want to briefly touch on the comment period one more time officially, I think we can move towards concluding the forum.
Great. So just as a reminder, comments are due by October 14th, 2024. Please direct your comments to me at the address on the screen, which is ratereform.oms@maine.gov. I think, if I remember correctly, Dwayne asked that you put the family planning in this subject line so that they do get directed to me. And we will take those through October 14th at midnight. So with no other questions, I think we can go ahead and end the forum.
Sounds like it. I just want to say thanks again for joining and participating today, and we look forward to comments related to this effort.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.